Hi, I would like to share an experience that I've recently undergone. I have followed a form of therapy called the MEMREC method, MEMREC, and it's some method that can help with phobia. Now, to give you some context, I have been suffering from arachnophobia, between brackets, fear of spiders, all my life. And that came about when I was a kid. When I was very young, I was in a boarding school, which was in the middle of a lot of green, a lot of trees and woods and stuff. And when I was 6, 7 years old, very small boy, in this dorm, one of the bigger kids, he had taken a spider and put it on my face. So I woke up from that experience. I woke up from that, and that experience was the first time I encountered with a spider. Now you can imagine, being a 6-year-old kid, you've got a face which is about this big, and then if you take a domestic, like here in Belgium, a spider like wood spiders are about this big, so that was almost on my face. That was the first encounter. A couple of years later, not so much later, but still in the same school, there was another episode with or event with again a big spider, or for me it looked like a big spider, and that was the basis to start this arachnophobia. I was terrified of spiders. Later, I went on a holiday. I was still very young, I think about 9 or 10, and then they took me to somewhere in the south of France on an island where also there was this cabin in the woods, and then from there we'd have to go towards the beach, and in that little where there's a lot of bush, there was this, for me then, huge spider. So that was the third event. At least those are the three events that I can remember that lasted this, or have this lasting impact on me. And for the rest of my life, whenever I encountered a spider, I would be suffering from it. I would be terrified from them. And luckily for me, I live in a country, or lived in countries most of my life, where you don't have so many of them, or relatively, living in cities most of the time. So occasionally, like every few years, you come across a spider, and then all the alarm bells would go off, and then it would take me weeks, months to lose that feeling again. You got to imagine stuff like, my behavior was like going to the toilet is checking the toilet inside out before I would sit down. And when I was sitting down, I was not relaxed. I was like, like the adrenaline would be going through me. Same going to bed, taking a jacket. The bed, there's a whole ritual behind it. First scan the room, then scan the bed inside out, and then even if I was lying down, I'd be like, oh shit, am I scanning my body all the time? Like, am I feeling something? And of course, my body would then give me signals that something would be itchy and crazy. Now I can imagine, for people that don't have fear of spiders, this is ridiculous. What are you talking about? And I had that many times, that people would react like that to me when I was like, oh, I saw a spider in my house and I was terrified and da da da. They can't imagine what that is. But I can tell you, for somebody that's suffering from that, this is real. It goes very far. The reason why I'm talking about this now is that, like I said, usually when I saw a spider, after a few weeks, months, the feeling would fade away. You don't see it, out of sight, it fades away and you're fine. Now, a couple of weeks ago, my son, I must say, because of me, he's also scared of spider, because he sees my reaction to it. He sees this big spider in his room, and before he can react like any normal person would do, react immediately, he froze, and the spider went underneath the door, and then by the time he got to his senses and he opened the door, the spider was gone. Now, according to him, it was a big unit. I haven't seen it, but I could see his face when he was telling me and his mom what kind of animal or spider he saw. It must have been pretty big. Now, the scary thing is, we've looked for it, but we couldn't find it. And that immediately re-triggered my fear. So I had horrible weeks. I couldn't relax anywhere in the house. All my rituals started again. action that I did, whether it was sitting on the dinner table to have dinner, I would scan the whole area underneath the table and it was even that bad. I kid you not, that in the morning when I was eating my cereal, I would imagine that I was eating the legs of a spider. My imagination absolutely or completely got the better of me. I was so engulfed in it, so busy with it, and I was imagining big spiders, small spiders. They were all the time in my brain. So without even actually seeing them, I was imagining them. And this went on for weeks. Going to bed was a nightmare. No, you know, after scanning the bed, lying in the bed, I was feeling surges of adrenaline going through me, completely like extremely super hyper focused on my body and sensing if is there a spider there, is it. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that was my reality. That is what I was living, and it was so exhausting. So I decided, okay, let me Google, because I had heard from people that there is something you can do about that. You know, there are therapies, there's stuff you can do. And then I Googled and I came across this clinic in Amsterdam, because I live in Holland now, where they claimed they could help you within 1 day to get rid of your phobia. Okay, I decided to make an appointment with them, and we had a chat, and they said, okay, yeah, usually most of the successes we have is after 1 day of treatment, but sometimes we can decide to have a few sessions if needed, but always in collaboration with the client, the customer, if that is what he or she still wants. Now, the technique with Memrek is that they make you go through the fear and really trigger it. Then they give you a pill, which is a beta blocker, that later, you don't make new connections to your brain, which adds to the panic that you're feeling. If you want to get the complete details, just Google it, Memrek method. And I don't want to go into the scientific stuff. I just want to explain or share my experience. So good. Okay, I make the appointment. I go to this place, and they put me in a room. They check my heartbeat, my pulse, stuff like that, just to see that I'm in a good state. I was told not to eat up front. I was, they're building it up. I was told not to eat. I was told not to drink coffee, etc. And so they take me up into this room. We go through all the tests. So you didn't eat, you didn't drink coffee. Okay. How are you feeling? How anxious are you right now? And they talk you through it, what the process is or what they're going to do. And she explained to me, a very lovely lady, she explained to me, I'm going to take you to the room. There's going to be a box there. And in that box, there's going to be a big black spider, like the domestic Dutch, I think it's the same in Belgium, like these black house spiders of about, this size. What I say, like about 5, what is this, 5 to 7 centimeters. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Let's make it 5, okay. And it will be in that plastic box container. I don't know how I should call it, but first there will be a lid on it. So we'll just go into the room and then I'll walk you through it. But what we need to do is we need to trigger your fear so that you make new connections to your brain, to your memory, and store them in your memory. Okay, so we go to the room. Are you ready? Yes, I am. We go to the room, and it starts already that, I see this box, and she says, yeah, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm okay. And she opens the lid, she takes off the lid of this plastic container, and I see the spider, and I immediately feel the adrenaline going through my body, and I'm standing behind the woman. I'm like sort of hiding behind her. She says, yeah, I'm going to make him move, see how he reacts, the spider, how it reacts. And she takes a pencil and she moves it, and it moves. But how a spider can move, that's also part of the reason why I dislike them, is they move so sudden, from no motion to very fast to slow to you don't know, it's unexpected. So she makes it move, and I'm standing behind her, and I'm like, and I move, I jump, I do. And she says to me, yeah, but you're hiding behind me. I would like you to move across the table and go opposite of me, you know, like just so that the spider's between us in that container. And okay, she says we need to get you through this. We need to get you, you know, we need to stimulate this anxiety and this panic in order to have successful therapy. So I muster up all my courage, and I know now that I'm saying it, it sounds ridiculous, but you know, for me it was like a nightmare. So I go across the room, I stand opposite of her, and you know, she doesn't do anything. Okay, I said, now breathe, you know, like okay, let it happen. And then she took me through a couple of exercises just to, you know, to see how far we could get me. And they will decide based on what they see if you had enough anxiety happening in that moment, that they would conclude and okay, we did enough. And then you get that pill, this beta blocker, so that you don't store this into your memory. She made me do things like, okay, close your eyes. It was horrible. It was horrible. I mean, and I know that nothing can happen, but in my imagination, this spider is gonna jump out. It's gonna jump on me. It's gonna go in my you know, like in my shirt, and and it's ridiculous. I know, but you know, I'm standing there with my eyes closed, and I keep opening my eyes to check, like, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? You know, did he move? Did he move? But I gradually I get through it, but very difficult. Then she says, okay, we're going to take it one step further. I need you to take your hands and put them over the edge of the box. Oh my God, what are you doing to me? But again, you know, it's all for a good cause, and I want this to be successful. And I have this mindset always of get out of your comfort zone. You know, like don't be a pussy, just go for it, because that's where you can win. You know, if you get out of your comfort zone, there's treasure to be found there. So I think, okay, I'm not gonna let this little animal, this creature is not gonna define my life. So I put my hands in, but it doesn't go smoothly. It's not like immediately put the hands in and stay. Like, no, a little bit. He moves. Oh, I take my hands out. So we go through this process, which takes again some time. You know, like at some point I leave them there, and then she says, "And now with your hands in the box, I want you to close your eyes again." Okay, so I'm doing that, and I was only able to do that for about, to me, it lasted for minutes, very long. In effect, she told me later it was only a few seconds. But in those few seconds, I cried like a baby. I was screaming, ah, because in my imagination, I mean, I can't explain it, but I didn't really sweat, but I had it felt like I was extremely hot, and I felt this adrenaline like wow surging through my body like crazy. And she says, okay, you did enough, it's good. When I ran out of that room upstairs, and even there I couldn't sit still, or I couldn't sit normally. I was checking the chair, like, is there something here? She gives me the pill, and they had said to me, like, you should tonight not go to your home if possible, because that's where you have this experience with the spider that your son saw. And what we would not want is that in the first night, when you're processing this subconsciously, it would not be helpful if you would then encounter the spider again, you know, the one that was loose in the house. So I had booked a hotel with the missus, you know, especially for that. I said, no, I'm not going to take any chances. And this ordeal, when we did the therapy, it was so impactful, you know, like I was drained afterwards, completely drained. Okay, we go to the hotel. The hotel goes really great. There's this elevator where we keep going up and down to our room with this like two posters in there, or like not paintings, but pictures in frames in the elevator, but we don't pay any attention to them. We go down, we go to the lobby, we go back up, we go down again with that elevator, have dinner there in the morning. It's only when the last time we're going down, you're not going to believe this, but I kid you not, this is absolutely true. I see all of a sudden on the sign, I read it, and I see there's a spider web on the picture with a spider in the middle, and it's a text around it saying, like, we treasure our little soldiers around the hotel because they help with the ecosystem. So it was only then that I understood. So I ran away, not encounter spiders that night, and I didn't, luckily. If I would have read that sign the night before, I would have left, definitely. But apparently this was an area close to a marina with boats and water where a lot of spiders reside. So they even had a sign up there like, yeah, we don't kill them. We welcome our soldier or something like that. But okay, nothing happened. Now fast forward, was it a week or 2 weeks later? I still must say, still at home, I was still confronted with going to bed, checking. I still had that. Still had the imagination of, I even had nightmares. Seriously, it happened. It was not every night, but it happened quite frequently in that period of weeks that I would wake up even from it. It was that bad. Now, come to my surprise, when I went to do a check, this is also part of the therapy, the method, is that you go back and then they introduce you again to the spider and see how you react. I couldn't believe what was happening. I could not believe it. I would go inside the room, I would immediately go across the woman with the spider between us. So I was not hiding behind her. We did the same exercise as put your hands in the basket. I did. Without panic. I didn't feel that adrenaline rush at all. I couldn't believe it. It was crazy. But it's really true. So that absolutely works. I even started to play with the spider because she kept asking me, like, can you take it to the next level? Let's see how you react on this. And if you don't want to do anything, you don't do it. And we will stop immediately if you want to. We're not pushing you. We're not doing, but... And to my surprise, I not the front of the spider, but the back, tick the leg, and then it would move. And, I still didn't like it. Of course not. But it really worked. It really did. Now, so I went back home and, so I tell my family, like, wow, what a 180-degree change. And I had pictures of it. I was proud, and I had pictures me with the spider. But it was so bad that I had these pictures also. They said, like, yeah, this is a case we don't get so often. It's that somebody imagines all the time big spiders, imagining legs in the food and crazy things. So we think it's good if you could come back and practice some more. So we want to do 1 or 2 more sessions just to make sure that, like the positive experiences, like by seeing them, playing with them, and seeing that nothing bad happens, to make that stronger and more important than the images you have. And then that should slowly, the images should fade, because you have these memories that everything is fine. You see a spider, nothing's going wrong, nothing's going to happen bad to me, etc., etc. So I went 2 more times, and it was super easy, and indeed, gradually, slowly, those images that I used to have, and this panic in bed and all that, it faded away. And now, I've got pictures. I even, the last 2 sessions, played with a tarantula. Didn't put it on my hand, I didn't, or put it on my face. That's a bridge too far. But I do play with them, up and I even started to see the beauty in one of the spiders, like the big one, the tarantula. I'm baffled. I am very, very surprised at the positive outcome of this therapy for me. I'm proud of myself that I did it, like I said earlier, by getting yourself out of your comfort zone, there's a lot to be gained. And this is a perfect example of that. And I think the biggest message is, like, for all you people that have any kind of phobia, there are ways to deal with it. There are ways to do something about it. Should you be interested in doing something like that, then I wish you all the best. And I'm a very satisfied customer. So that was me ranting on. Like, I get excited about it. I get excited because I'm happy. I'm happy that it worked so well. Alrighty, bye bye.